What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the LIV'N podcast. We have another very special guest here today. We are here with the lovely Jenna. She is one of the dopest, if not the dopest, nurse aesthetic in the city. I'm still trying to work on that pronunciation of that word, but she runs Maris Aesthetics. So, self-employed CEO, as I like to call him. And yeah, she's here to drop some knowledge for you guys. Jenna, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, appreciate your time. So we got a lot to get into. So I kind of just want to hop right into it and start talking about your journey and how we got here today. So first off, before the business world and the CEO life, you were an athlete. You were 9 to 5, all those things. So kind of talk to us about life before you kind of got into your business.
Yeah, so after college, just like everyone else, got kind of roped into a regular nursing job. I started off in the hospital working 12-hour night shifts
Oh wow.
for probably like almost 7 years, which was pretty brutal.
Wow.
Um, and then I hopped over into aesthetics. I was kind of like, I kind of was like, I need to do something else, or
Okay.
else I, kind of a little burnt out
Yeah.
in the hospital. And I was just working for someone else for their med spa. Um, and it just took me a little bit, but I finally was kind of like, this isn't for me. Like, I need to do something else.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah. And then Maris Aesthetics was born after that.
I got you. And so when nursing hospital, then the med spa.
Yeah.
Okay. What was kind of like, I guess, your breaking point, or where it was just like something's not right. I don't like where I'm at. What was kind of like that realization?
I had a pretty bad experience, kind of. Really toxic work environment,
Okay.
and just really wasn't happy. And I had something happen specifically one day where I was like, okay, like I'm quitting, like I'm done.
Right.
And I kind of assumed that I would just find another like med spa job. But my husband was the one who was kind of like, why are you gonna like keep like, you don't want to like jump around from like med spa and have like the same things happen,
Right.
kind of. So he was like, why don't you just start your own? And I was like, no. That was my first reaction, and he just kind of kept pushing me, and I just didn't. I had never really like seen that for myself, especially in like the med spa aesthetics world. It
Right.
just seemed like a little unattainable, and I guess I just didn't like that. Wasn't really my goal when I got into aesthetics, was to start my own business. So it was definitely a big jump for me.
Gotcha. What was the original goal then? Since I wasn't.
I think it was just to really work for someone else and like enjoy what I did. I was really unhappy in the hospital, and I just hadn't even thought about like owning my own business in that aspect. I was like, "Oh, I'll just go work for someone. I'll like make better money, have better hours." But it just turned into like the same things that I was like finding in the hospital of like not really choosing my own schedule,
Right.
working weekends, like missing out on like stuff for my kids, and
Right.
just making someone like making someone a lot of money and getting very little of that money too. That was kind of brutal to see that.
Yeah. So how long did you say it came for you to like kind of come around to the idea of like, all right, maybe I should, start my own shop?
I kind of like applied to a few jobs. It was maybe like a week of like quitting my old job, seeing what was out there and being like, "Oh, like this is not it." And in that week, we had a friend that was opening a salon in Lohi.
Okay.
And my husband was like, "Hey, like you should just reach out, like see if you can just rent a space from them, like if they have one, like there's no harm in just asking." And when I reached out, they were like, "Oh, this is like exactly what we're looking for. Like let's meet this week." And I was
Oh
like,
wow.
"Okay." And so within like a couple weeks, I was like up and running and like with my own. It was kind of wild. It was a wild turnaround. It was maybe like a month from like start to finish.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it
crazy.
was intense. I went from being like, no, I don't want my own business to being like, okay, like a month later,
It's
here we
like
are.
all happening so
Yeah.
fast. Yeah. So obviously your husband was supportive of you, but were other people supportive, or and were there other people that were like, I don't know if you should do this?
Oh,
Or?
everyone, like, other than my husband, like, kind of discouraged me.
Oh, really?
Yes, I had like a few friends that were like, yes, like, this is amazing, but most of my friends, like, in the industry were like, oh, they were just scared for me. They were like, it's a lot, like, I don't know if you know what you're getting yourself into, and things like that. And I just kind of had to be like, I'm gonna do it, because once I
Right.
just had it in my head and I like just started to get really excited about it, and it was like something that could really like be done, and like I did it fast.
Right.
And so people were definitely not the most supportive. I think they were just really scared for me.
Interesting. And were those people who have their own shops, or were they working for others people?
They were working for other people. So
Ah,
they were just kind of like stuck in that mindset, and they were like, I don't like, I'm worried for you, stuff like that. And I was like, meh. I was like, that just makes me want to like do it even more.
right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Did that taint any of those relationships at all? With like kind
A
of
little
without the.
bit, yeah. I feel like I kind of like pulled away a little bit. I definitely leaned into a lot of my friends that were like super supportive and like helped me every chance that they got, because you know those are like the real ones that
Yeah.
believed in you before it was
Definitely.
anything.
Right. So you started really quick. A month turnaround is crazy.
Yeah.
So that first year that you were in business, what were kind of some of the bigger challenges that you had to face?
Oh, definitely like managing like inventory, money. You know, I'd just been getting a steady paycheck like every 2 weeks, to going from like in aesthetics, like our product is like pretty, we have like higher price services, but the product is also higher price. So you
Right.
have to like, you know, you're starting off with needing to buy like 20 to 30 grand worth of products, like almost like right off the bat.
Oh wow.
So that part was a little like getting used to that, and like managing that, and just kind of staying, the first few months were just like, let's just stay afloat. And
Yeah.
that was a big learning curve for me. And like getting my own like charting system, and just getting like all the back end stuff in place was a lot of work that I definitely kind of knew but didn't really know. You know, you're
Right.
like, oh, it'll be fine, and you're like, no, this is a lot of like admin. Like, yes, it's injecting, but it's a lot of back end stuff to like keep everything running smoothly.
Right. At this point, you're completely solo, right? You don't. There's
Yes,
nobody
yeah,
supporting. There's not.
it's just me.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah.
Okay. So starting out though, like I know you're hesitant, but what would you say is kind of like one of your big wins early on? Where just like, all right, like I'm feeling good, and I think we got something.
Yeah, I feel like you know, you're always nervous. Like, you're like, are people gonna book with me? Like, are people even gonna come in?
Right.
And they did. And I also like worked my tail off on Instagram too, which kind of helped build my business. Um, but I feel like my biggest like win was in my first year, like profiting like six figures,
Wow.
which I think people just thought that I would, I don't know, just tank maybe.
Right.
But that was like a moment of being like, whoa, like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even in like some people in a business, you know, like you don't profit maybe for like a year or two. That's kind of normal. And
Yeah.
so,
Definitely.
yeah, I kind of just hit the ground running, and I kind of just had to make it happen. There was no backup plan. So, and I
Right.
was like, I'm not going back to the hospital. I'm not going to go work for someone else. So, just made it work and made
Yeah.
it happen.
Yeah. Was that kind of like one of your bigger driving forces? Was like, hey, this has to work, or like I don't
Yeah, I was
know.
like, after like the experience I had at my old job, I was like, it seemed to be like a trend for in our industry to so just not always being treated that well when you're working for other people,
Right.
which is very unfortunate. But I just knew after seeing like the money that I could bring in on just my own, that I was like, I can't go back for working for someone else and working the weekends and like holiday, like just the holiday stuff and all that.
Yeah. And obviously you're busy, but I'm sure there's probably some like time freedom in there of like, hey, I'm making my own schedule, I'm setting my own appointments.
Yeah,
And
that is like the nice part. I do try to like really grind and work hard, and sometimes there's guilt with that, but especially like this summer, like I carved out like my summer hours for work. So I end a little bit early, so like if I want to be done at like 2 p.m. and take the kids to the pool, like I couldn't do that, and I get to decide that, which to me is like way worth it than asking for permission
right.
or so yeah.
Yeah. So that's huge. So in your field, I guess what kind of separates, your skill set and what you can do versus like the next person who does, the same thing? Like how does
That is like a hard thing is I think people think we're kind of just like all the same, but it's very different. I really had to like niche down. I think that's what made my business so successful.
right?
And I really focus on like natural results and really just like making women feel confident. I feel like we have a reputation of like kind of being like more of like a vain industry,
Yeah.
but mine is really for like empowering women. So I feel like that's a little bit different. And I also just built my business on like getting clients to trust me,
Right.
especially like through like education and not being like super salesy and having it more focused on like the education part and
Right.
stuff like that instead of like just trying to be a because I'm not a really good salesperson. I'm good at like helping people like trust me and like
Right.
me, so that kind of helps. But I
Yeah.
definitely don't know anything about sales.
But your work sells
I
itself
guess
and
it
it
kind of
speaks.
yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of sells itself.
Yeah. So for people like myself who aren't too familiar with like your industry, can you kind of dive into like the educational piece on like health benefits that you do for your clients and like how working with you will help prepare their life for their beauty or all the things that you do.
Yeah, so I really just focus on one, keeping people looking like natural, but also like just boosting their confidence. That's like my real goal. But also like knowing when to tell people no. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do focus on like the aesthetics part, like the injectables, but also like skin health. And then I have a nurse practitioner who does like peptides and
Okay.
um, like the GLP-1s and kind of the more,
Right.
because I like to really offer people like the full like package of feeling better. So that's kind of nice to be able to offer that.
Yeah. So what are those conversations like in a sense of like somebody comes in and it's like, I want to look like this or I want to,
Oh, that's
versus
like,
like, all right, here's what, let's be
yeah.
realistic at the same
That is
time.
like I hate when people show me like inspo pics. I'm like, this is not. I was like, your face is your face. I was like, so I really focus on like enhancing their features to just make them look like the best. Like I always say, like I want to make you look like the best, like refreshed version of yourself, but still always you. Like we don't want you to look like unrecognizable or not like yourself. So that's always the goal.
Right.
Which I think most of my clientele now that they know that kind of like gravitate towards me for that.
Yeah.
So I rarely have to like tell people no, but I still sometimes am like, no, like we're not doing that. So
And then will people just be like, all right, well, I'm out and
I,
or
for the most part, people just been like, they're at first a little like, okay, like that's fine, and then they'll text me later and be like, thanks for like keeping me in check. Like, it's always good. I just will never like ethically and like just my style and it's like my work and that's out there. I don't want someone ever to look at it and be like, whoa, like that's like too much, you
yeah.
know? Because it's essentially like my reputation on the
Right,
line. So,
exactly.
yeah.
And so you feel like a part of you is like you're really trying to just show people like their inner beauty that they already have, but like
Yes.
enhancing their
Yeah.
certain features.
Yes. Really
Right.
trying to like help aesthetics move towards like a very natural, like vibe instead of it's for a while it was pretty bad. Like I feel like if you said Botox or filler, people like pictured someone that looks like terrifying, kind of, right?
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it's taken a little bit, but I think we're getting there. At least my clients are. But yeah, always like when someone goes to my Instagram, like I want them to just see like super natural stuff where they're like, oh, like that looks good, like that doesn't look crazy, or which it's hard because people still have like that. It still has like that stigma, but I think it's getting better.
Right. And so before they come and see you, do people need to like come in educated on all of this, or is that kind of like what your consultations are?
I try to do a lot of that on my Instagram, to be honest. Like I go on there, I'm on my stories, I'm educating people about, like complications that can happen. I feel like not a lot of that stuff is talked about where there's a lot of stuff that can happen.
Right.
And people will just go to a med spa and people will not educate them on like side effects, like adverse reactions, just all the things that can happen. So when they come in, I always have them do a consultation. So we like talk about all the things. I kind of recommend things, but I also talk about like the risks, the benefits. Um, and I really just do a lot of education on Instagram, but then when they come in, we kind of just go over it again. So they don't really have to know anything. A lot of them do their research. Some of them, are on TikTok and
Yeah.
come in with some crazy things that they want to try and do or that they've heard. But so it's kind of hard with that. But
Yeah.
a lot of my education is Instagram and then just a lot in person, which is nice.
That's good. I'm sure you probably get like a lot of referrals. Like, you got a customer and they're like, "Oh, you look great," and I'm like, "Oh,
Yes, that
this is
is
wrong."
like kind of how I built my business. It's also like the biggest compliment to have someone like trust you and be like, "Oh, like my friend looks really great, so I came in." That's like the best thing you can ever tell me.
Right. So that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with you being a business owner and your husband being a business owner, like, how do you guys?
Oh.
How's that dynamic in the house and with one another? And
It's definitely a little chaotic. He started his business like maybe a year or two before mine.
okay.
And I think so. I was the one who like told him to start. I was like, "You need to start your own business. Like, you can't keep
Oh,
working for these big, awful construction companies." And he finally listened, and he was like, "I wish I had done this a long time ago." And so
right.
I was the one who pushed him, and then he was the one who pushed me. But it's, I'm not gonna sugar. It's pretty chaotic, but it's kind of like the best kind of chaotic.
Right.
We don't have like neither of us have steady paychecks coming in. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants a little bit.
Yeah.
But we also get to like on a Wednesday, like go golfing together or like, just do stuff like that where we try to make the best of it. We try to really support each other,
Yeah.
which I feel like it's a little bit harder because my business is newer. I feel like I need a little bit more support where his is a little more established. But we just really work on like talking things out with each other and supporting each other. So it works. It's a lot, but I think it beats just both of us working like boring 9 to 5 any day.
Right. And then how's like communication as far as you guys go just with your business? Because obviously you guys have a family as well. So it's like, all right, he has this project, you have this going on, but obviously you guys still have to maintain a household and run your companies as
Yeah.
well. So how's like the communication dynamic between the two of you?
It's gotten a lot better. We've really learned some hard lessons about when we don't communicate well, like with childcare and like, it'll be a morning where we used to have like he has a meeting and I'm like, "Well, you were supposed to watch." It's like one of those where we've had some hiccups where we just have to like make it work. Like,
Right.
we have gotten better about that though, because like I can't be like bringing my kids to work. It hasn't happened. Yeah, I've definitely brought my kids to work
Yeah.
before, but we just try our best to be a lot more organized now. We have like our calendars synced and just like every night we kind of like recap of like what needs to happen tomorrow, and kind of do that. Or usually like a weekly recap, but we still like at least every night we'll like try to stay a little bit organized about our day and like what's gonna happen. But we're getting better. It was pretty bad at first though.
Yeah.
My kids have gone to a lot of job sites, so
Oh,
getting
with the
toted around. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I gotcha. And how old are your kids?
They are 5 and almost 7.
5 and 7. Okay, those are fun ages. So
Yeah.
like they're aware of things, but they're not like fully aware.
Oh, I feel like
Truly.
they know.
They know.
They're like sponges. They're
Okay.
watching everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you hope they pick up? As you and your husband being the examples for them, and them being sponges.
I mean, they are. You can tell like they definitely already like see it, which is kind of cool. Like they'll be like, "Oh, like I want to go to mom's work," and like that's just like a proud moment to have your kids like
Yeah.
be excited to like go to like your office and like you built that and they get to go see that. Um, I mean, I just hope that they don't get. I I hope they do something that they love, but also
Right.
just know that like the option is always there to like just start your own business and not just always work for someone else. Because my husband and I both grew up like our parents just did the regular stuff. No one had their own business,
Right.
and we kind of just like we're like, oh, this is like what we're gonna do. And so I'm hoping my kids watching this like it'll at least just open their eyes to like maybe one day taking over one of our businesses, or if not, like doing their own thing. But at least they like know it's out there, and I feel like they're more aware of that.
Right.
Growing up that way.
Yeah, and they realize there's possibilities, there's
Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
It's not like how we grew up, where it's like, hey, like go to school, go to college, get a
Yeah,
job.
literally. I'm like, if you don't want to
Like,
go to college, like you don't have to go to college.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's huge. So going from like business to like mom, is it like, all right, when you're at work, obviously, you're at work, but when you come home, is it just like, all right, now that's shut off and now it's mom mode, or?
I mean, I would love for that. I feel like for the first like hour or two, it's probably both. I try to really like unplug when I get home, just for them. But sometimes I like will after dinner watch a movie and I'm like charting or finishing up some stuff from the day. I try to not do that, but it definitely still happens.
Yeah.
And then trying to like unplug from my phone is really hard. I have people like texting me. I have like my social media stuff, so it's hard. I try like my best to unplug, but I'm definitely need to get a little bit better at it just because it's tough. That's like probably the hardest part, I think, is like not like separating it as much when you get home,
Right.
and just trying to set like those boundaries.
Yeah. And so, what does balance look like to you? And when people say balance, it's never 50-50, you know?
Yeah.
But like where you put your energy towards, more so in this area versus this area, or realizing when like, hey, maybe I'm doing too much, I need to pull back. So like, what does balance look like in your life right now, and how do you kind of like maintain that as best you can?
So I have like my 3 days a week that I'm like in clinic and seeing clients, and then on my days off, let me say days off. So on like on 2 of the weekdays, I'm kind of doing like admin stuff.
Okay.
I'm having meetings, but like some of those days, like last week, I kind of just said F it and like went to the pool with my kids.
Okay.
It's like a
Yeah.
nice day, and I was like, it's summer, so I kind of just I try to. It's like definitely a balancing act, but I just try to like be like a little flexible. If I'm like, I've been working hard, like then I spent like all last night charting, like while the kids were playing, and like I'm like I'm gonna take today off and go to the pool. So I kind of just like decide. I don't like schedule it out, but
Okay.
I feel like it makes me just feel a little less like guilty about like splitting time between my two babies, like my kids and my business. So it's really tough, but I think I do an okay job. My husband does not as good as me. I feel like he works like a little too much,
Yeah.
whereas I'm like, no, I'm gonna go to the pool.
Okay. So you say you're pretty self-aware most
Yeah,
of the time when you're
yeah,
just like, a little burnt out today.
yeah. Cause like when I like look, I'm like, that's like the whole point of starting my own business is to like quite literally make my own schedule and spend more time with my family. So
Right.
if I can make it work, like why not? Do you think some things fall through the cracks with that? Maybe a little, but
Yeah.
it's all right. Like it'll be okay.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna regret like going to the pool with them,
Yeah.
or spending the day with them.
I got you. Do you try to tell your husband this?
Yeah, I do. And I was like, in a couple years, they're not gonna want to hang out with us, and you're gonna like regret it a little bit. I tell him that a lot.
And so, what does he say?
He's like, I gotta work, I gotta pay these bills. But no, I mean, he knows. I just feel like he is like his stuff is a little more demanding.
Yeah.
But I think he still tries. Like he still carves out that time, just not as much as me.
Yeah, and sure, maybe to him, like the time that he does carve, maybe that's like
Yeah.
what he needs, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, all right, I'm back to
Yeah.
being laser focused. So, so with your business, a big part, as you said, as you've grown, is the social media side of it. And so we all know about social media in this day and age. How has it helped your business, and how has it maybe hurt in a way, or like what's some stuff behind the social media walls that people don't see in your industry?
It's definitely helped my business grow. It's one of like the main reasons. So it's hard when it's like I probably like 50% of my clients are from Instagram and 50 are like referrals
Right.
or like word of mouth. So that part's great. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome because this is like, free marketing that I get to do,
Right.
and really like put my presence and brand up there. But it's also tough because it's like, it kind of sucks the life out of you. And it's definitely been like a little bit of strain on like my marriage and things like that, just being on my phone more and kind of having to be like a little more sucked in. So I've had to like set some serious boundaries with my Instagram and like how often I'm on there. And then I've recently outsourced, so having someone help me with my Instagram,
Okay.
because that was a big thing where I was like, I just can't do this on my own all the time. It's just a lot. Like
It's a full-time job in
it's
itself.
literally a full time job. So I think that'll be a nice little break, and hopefully I can like spend a little bit of time off of it's hard. It's hard because it's like it's so good. It's
Yeah.
helped me build my business, but it also like drains me. So
Yeah. So when you set those boundaries, is it kind of like a metric, like all right, I can only post twice a day, and then I'm like done. I won't look at anything else, or do I like go and look through the DMs, or what does that look like?
so I try to do a lot of it like while I'm at work on those days, and I'm like posting, I'm on my stories, trying to like get it all done while I'm there because
Right.
I don't want to be on my phone a lot at home.
Right.
That's where I kind of feel like you can get like sucked in. And I do feel like I still have to like like scroll a little, look at like what's trending and all that ridiculous stuff,
Yeah.
and kind of like stay relevant a little bit. But sometimes you get sucked in where I'm like, so I've kind of like limited my scrolling. I also we got that like little brick thing that you can like brick your phone, and like it blocks a bunch of your apps like
Mm.
when you're at home. So and I'm kind of like, that's enough. So kind of like from like 6 to when I go to sleep, I'm
Okay.
trying to not be on my phone as much because the DMs can wait, like the messages can
Yeah.
wait.
You just gotta like shut the brain off for a little bit, and
Yeah,
tomorrow it'll
you
still
kind
all
of
be there.
you kind of have
Like,
to. I feel like it's
yeah.
hard.
So the dark side of social media, as we all know, is people. Everybody has an opinion
Yeah.
about things. There's comments and there's
Mhm.
nasty things. And I know we just recently met, but I did catch you know a video, or you posted something, and then there's a
Oh,
lot
did you
of
see my viral?
yes, which is like I'm happy you spoke up for yourself, and screw all those people. But I'm yeah. Do you wanna
Yeah,
talk about
so
that?
I've never had anything go viral before. I made that reel. I thought it was gonna be like so like cute and funny, and like yes, I know that men usually always like age better than women, but it's just supposed to be a funny joke, and I think it almost has like 1 million views now, and it was mostly men commenting that my I look so old and ugly, and my husband looks so good, and I was just like,
Oh man.
I don't know. I have a pretty thick skin. I feel like I'm a millennial, so like
Yeah.
we've seen some shit.
Yeah.
But and my friends were like, "Are you okay? These comments are like so mean." And I was like, "You guys, this is just boosting my algorithm." I was like, "They can comment all they want."
Right.
But then I did make that like little comeback reel to kind of try to like make a stab back at some of those men that were making those comments, but and it didn't really backfire, but I was just like, I almost was like, probably shouldn't have done that, but I just was like, I feel like I need to like stand up for myself a little bit
Yeah.
because I feel like people don't. But the comments, like, I don't know, they're not that they don't bother me, but I'm just like it is what it is. Also, I was just kind of happy to have something like go viral. But yes, people are unkind a lot on
Yeah.
the internet, and like I don't care if it's towards me. I feel like I'm pretty like confident in how I feel and look, but I don't like what I like won't put up with is if they comment something like if I post like a before and after of one of my clients
Right.
or something like that where they were really like that's a lot for them to like allow me to post them on the internet.
Definitely.
So I'll like never allow anyone to say anything like mean about them because that's them like being vulnerable and like helping my business. So that's something I will never. I'll delete those till the end of time. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, the internet's like a dark place. It's I still each I had like every time I looked at my phone like every hour it was like 50 new comments, 100 new comments. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. But now my page has like I don't know, yeah, over 1 million views. I'm like, you're just helping me out.
Yeah. No, I saw that, and so I was like, way to look at opportunity in the wake
Yeah.
of madness.
Yep. I'm like, now everything I post just gets seen more. So I'm like, thank you to all the crusty men that commented on that.
I love it.
Uh,
But you say millennials, we got thick skin, which is true. But
Yeah.
also, we're still human beings,
Yeah.
and things do affect us. I'm sure things affect you. So the things that, whether it's on social media or not, things that affect your mental state of mind. How do you kind of cope with those things and navigate your emotions when stuff bothers you? Like that?
I try to do like Pilates like a couple times a week. I feel like working out is definitely my like stress reliever. And then I also go to therapy. That also helps. So
Yeah.
I feel like everyone should do therapy. But yeah, I kind of use both of those tools. That's like my big thing. And just like grand scheme of things, like I don't know, all that stuff like doesn't really matter. You kind of just have to. I've learned to just let a lot of stuff like roll off my shoulders starting a
Right.
business. It's been kind of tough. You also like find out like who your real friends are and who
Yeah.
like your real supporters are, which um, that to me was like probably like the toughest part of starting a business.
Oh, like the separation of like people you thought were your friends and supporting you and actually weren't, and
Yep.
then
Or the people
yeah,
that like all my friends that will like watch all my stuff on Instagram and like never like anything, never comment, never share anything, and then I have like random strangers on the internet sharing stuff, and I'm like, oh, like thank you, that's so nice.
yeah,
So it's kind of wild, that aspect, I guess.
yeah. It's so bizarre. Like that's just it's sad that it's like that,
Yeah.
and it makes you wonder. It's just like, were you ever rooting for me in life,
Yeah.
or were
It
what was the
kind of shows
dynamic?
you a lot of people's like true colors a little bit. And it says a lot. It's I've learned that it like just says a lot about them and
Oh,
not about, you know what I mean?
yeah, hundred
Like
percent.
it's more them, which is hard to. It just hurts at first a little bit.
Yeah, and I think people like that they like are so caught into the comparison, and
Yeah.
so they're like, oh well, they can't be better than me, because I gotta do better. But it's like, yeah, you can do better, but also you can root for people
Yeah, it's
to
crazy.
win, especially your own people.
It's wild.
Yeah,
I had someone the other day, a friend that she's had her business for a while, and she's like, Jenna, like you're just gonna learn that like most people are not gonna be happy for you in your business. Like she's like, you just kind of accept it and then really appreciate the people who do support you. And I was like, okay,
right.
but it is. It's a little hard at first when you start to realize because you're like, why would people like not be happy for me?
Yeah,
It's kind of it is wild. It's
yeah.
you're like it's kind of crazy.
But then you end up meeting new people,
Yeah,
making new
you meet
friends,
better
new.
people. That's what I'm like. You meet your people.
Right, exactly. So, um, but yeah, well, I'm happy that you have your outlets and not. And side note, Pilates is no joke for. if,
Oh yeah, they're hard.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of guys don't know about Pilates, but do a class and you'll be like, holy.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Uh,
like convince my husband to do one because I feel like he has no idea, and
I
I
think
think it would
all
be
every guy
pretty
should do one. Yeah.
comical to
Yeah.
like because he's like, what is this like? Is it really? I come home like complaining about how sore I am, and he's just like, was it like? Was it really that bad? Like, and I'm like, oh, you don't know.
Yeah. So, PSA, like get them out there and
Yeah, I'll do a video of it. I'll do a reel.
yes, yeah, different level of respect
Yeah,
after that. So,
seriously.
yeah. Um, so, and also in your industry, with beauty and enhancing people's lives and physically, and I would say spiritually, mentally as well, comes with that. I think you look good, you feel good inside, and all the
Mm-hmm.
things. So, what have been kind of some of just the highlights of kind of your industry and like what you've done for people and helped people with?
Just having people, like, even just a little text of like a client being like, oh, like I've been getting so many compliments, like I just feel so good. Things like that, where it just like, you know, that like you're making their everyday life better,
Right.
and making them feel good. Like, yeah, like look good, feel good. Like, people think it's like vain or whatever, but it's true. Like, I feel like it helps. Like, some of my clients have been like, oh, like I got like that job that I wanted. Like, I feel like I owe it to you. I felt like so confident and good in there. And I was like, that's crazy. But it's just an awesome feeling to really help people. I feel like in the hospital, I was helping people in a different way, like healing people. But they didn't really appreciate it that much. That was
Yeah.
really hard to like, that burnout was tough with that. But I feel like with this, people just really appreciate it. And it's like a lot of trust. And I feel like that's definitely the best part is just those like little texts that I'll get, or like someone writing a like raving review, or being like having someone come in and be like, oh, like my friend just says they love you and they like trust you and you make them look so good. So like now I'm in here for the same thing. So
Right. Yeah. And how important is like your own reputation with what you do?
it's kind of like it's the most like it's important, and just like really making sure I stay like authentic to myself in my business, staying natural. You get like caught up with doing too much, like when there's a lot of injectors that look like, I'm not gonna lie, like they look a little scary, so you just have to be really careful too about like what you look like, because it's your reputation. It's what like people assume like you will make them look like,
Right.
things like that, where your reputation is like kind of everything. And then just having your clients like say that they had a good experience and things like that. Like that's the whole point, is just giving people a good experience.
Right. So I know, just anything you do, it's not always rainbows and sunshine. Do you have any horror stories about?
Uh,
You can share. You don't say names or
I no,
anything, or
I do. Um, just okay. There's just some people that I feel like we're never gonna be happy. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a hard one in my industry, where not like essentially a horror story, but um, just people that it's always gonna be like you're never gonna make them happy,
Yeah, they
and
are. They walked in the door pissed off. They're gonna
or they just like
like.
will pick, yeah, or
Mm,
like they're just gonna like pick themselves apart, and like anything you do is like never gonna be like good enough for what they wanted, or things like that. But I did have one like horror story is I had a client come in, and we were doing a treatment that like it's a lot of needles. It's like a 90-minute treatment, so it's like quite a bit of time.
right.
And brought like her 3-year-old son, and I should have just said no. Like safety wise, should have been like no, but she was like so adamant about like she's like no, he'll be fine, and it'll be, and I was just like, oh, this is like a like liability. I just felt and like so uncomfortable, and like where I couldn't really say no. And so we like I tried to like do the treatment still, and
Right.
he was like running, or it was just so dangerous,
Oh
and I had to like
no.
stop it. Like I was like, we no.
Yeah,
I
you
was
got
like,
needles and sharp stuff all
yeah,
around,
I should
and
have just said no from the
yeah,
beginning, and I was like, that was a big regret. But I was like, this is so. I was like, well, maybe if he just sits there a bit. No, he was like running around, like knocking stuff
yeah.
over, and
What 3-year-olds do?
I was like, you're gonna get stabbed. This kid is gonna get stabbed with something. So that was probably my biggest like, holy shit moment of my career. I was like, then now from like when people come in, I'm like, nope, like no, no kids, no
I
nothing. Like
gotcha.
you gotta get out.
Yeah, and nothing happened, right? That,
No, he was fine, but I had to
but
like stop there. Like, she like got like half
yeah.
of the treatment. I was like, you just have to come back another time. I'm sorry. Like I don't know what to tell you, or get someone to come pick your child up. So that was like my. That's I'll never forget that.
I gotcha. Did she come back?
No, and that's fine. But I was like, I don't know. I think maybe she was like a little embarrassed. That's okay.
Yeah,
But I was like, I don't know. I offered. I didn't care. I was like, just come back.
I
But
got you. Well, actually, it brings up a question on that. So on that note, will you, it is your own business. So will you like turn people away? Maybe or like maybe they were super difficult, or maybe it's like maybe you'd be better off somewhere else. Have you had those type of?
sometimes I turn people away if they want like some like an unnatural like style. Like if I'm like, I'm not gonna make you look like this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or there's some I've only had to do this one time. We have this button on our like charting system where we can say like fire this client. Um, and that's just some people. I don't like when people like don't listen to my education, and like they repeatedly come in and are like, I want this and this, and I was like, well, we've talked about this, we can't really do that, that's something
Right.
we've already talked about. And I feel like when I like educate them so much and they still really aren't listening, that's when I feel like it's a kind of a liability to me, just like safety wise and things like that, and just for my business.
Right.
So I've had one person where I was like, they weren't really listening to like the aftercare instructions, which is really important,
Right.
and they had like an adverse thing happen, like like a droopy eyelid,
Oh
because
no.
they did something that they weren't supposed to do afterwards, and that's always like a risk when
Right.
you don't follow the aftercare. So that was someone I was like, no more. So I don't know what the button does, but I clicked it, and I think it just blocks them from like booking, and I don't know. I don't know what it does, but I pressed it. I was like, it just people like that. One, it like drains my energy and like takes away from like me giving my other clients like my best self and best care.
Right.
And if you're not gonna like listen to the
Yeah. Their
post care
liability.
instructions, your liability,
Yeah.
yeah, you get cut off.
Exactly. Like the dentist says, brush your teeth and floss. You don't go home and not brush your teeth
Yeah.
and floss. Or if you have surgery, you gotta go
Yeah.
to PT. Like
Yeah.
you gotta do.
That's like I think people don't take it as seriously because they don't see it as like actual medicine, because it is kind of considered cosmetic, but it's still like serious. Like you still have to listen to what I say, and like you know what I mean.
Right.
And people I feel like don't take it as seriously, so that's kind of hard.
And you know, I've never done this before, but I know it ain't cheap. So I was like, you're paying all this money to
Yeah. Like
do all
listen
this
listen
work.
to the aftercare instructions so you don't
Yeah,
get a droopy eyelid. Yeah.
exactly. And then you're paying more money to fix that. And
Yep. Yeah. It's hard.
yeah, that's just a whole cycle.
Yep.
So, so for you, what would you say to women, or what would you just say to people in general, who kind of feel maybe they're stuck in their 9 to 5, or they're stuck in their job, or they're stuck just wherever they're at, and kind of want to pursue something that they're passionate about, but they're a little scared, they're a little timid, they don't know what to do. What would you say to them?
I mean, the obvious of just do it. And people will be like, you'll just come up with any excuse. And you just have to, like, put all that aside. Like, if you never try, then you'll never know. So, um, just starting this was the best thing I ever did. And I have no regrets. And whenever anyone starts a business, like, for the most part, they don't regret it. Like, they're only happier. I don't know anyone that has their own business that's, like, totally miserable. They're a lot more successful, and I feel like they get to do a lot more of the stuff that they want. And they also will tell someone, like, it's the best thing I ever did. Like, yeah, it's a lot of work. You're definitely going to be working more. It's not going
Right.
to say, like, oh, you just get to sit back. But working for yourself, once you start doing it, there's, like, no turning back. I feel like once you taste that, like, freedom and just, like, the confidence it gives you, and it just, like, really, like, lights this fire.
Right.
But it's like people always are waiting for, like, the right time and the right, like, oh, when I have, like, more money to do this and that. And I'm like, you just have to do it. Like,
Right.
I did, like, in a month I had just decided to go for it, and it just
Yeah.
worked out because I just knew it was going to. I told myself that this is what I was going to do. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
just really got to go for it, like balls to the wall, kind of.
Exactly. And rarely is it like the right time, because it's
No.
like, all right, when this happens, but then that happens, but something else comes up, and then it's just like that's
Yeah.
all. Some shit's always gonna be happening or coming up,
Yes.
or there's gonna be a reason not to do it or a reason to wait a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You
And
just have
then
to start, like, where you are. It doesn't matter if you're ready. Like, because you're never going to be ready. You just have to do it.
yeah, put one foot in front of the other. So when it comes to longevity, I know you said your husband's been in his craft a little bit longer than you have, but together you guys have been doing what you do for a long time. So what would be 3 points you could tell people to that every entrepreneur should have, whether it be characteristics or attributes that kind of help them in their longevity in their own businesses?
You definitely have to have, like, the drive and stamina to, like, get it started and then just know that you're going to keep going, like, no matter what. Like, you just can't half ass it. So you have to have that. I'm a big, like, manifester. So I think
Okay.
that's, you're only going to do as well as you believe you are.
Right.
So that's been a huge thing in my business. So I feel like having that ability to, like, see what you want, what, like, you want your business to be, like, just envisioning that, like, all the time and picturing it already being yours is, like, a huge thing that's helped me a lot.
Right.
So I love that. And then just finding something that you're super passionate about. I feel like if the passion isn't there, then it's just, it might fizzle, because if
Yeah.
you don't love what you're doing, your heart's, like, not all the way in it, then it's not gonna, like, in your best interest, and you're gonna burn out or something's gonna happen.
Right.
So you have to, like, really find, like, what fuels and fires you and go after that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like you're gonna lose motivation if you don't even like what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, and I just like one on one. So I was like, why would you start something if you don't like it anyways?
Yeah.
So I get that.
I know I used to dread going to work, like, that drive to work, dread it. And
Yeah.
now I don't think I've had a day in my business where I, like, haven't wanted to go to work. Like, I get back from a vacation, and that first day you're like,
Yeah.
no. I was like, oh, I'm ready. I feel refreshed, and I'm, like, ready to see my patients.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
it's a cool feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Also in the entrepreneurial world, I think of habits and routine, and so I think those are key things. But everybody is different. So habits and your routines, is it important to you, and then what are those for you? And obviously I know they can kind of change day in and day out, but like overall, what would you say yours are?
I said working out. I like the try to work out a couple. mornings a week. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And then I have this like full focus journal that I like to write in every morning.
Okay.
You kind of like write your goals for the week, and it kind of like sets the tone. And then like it does like a daily one where you kind of like are tracking like where you are with like even just like stuff you need to do, goals you need to hit, things
Right.
like that. So I love doing that. And then my other routine is really just like making sure I like to get to work like early, like probably almost an hour where I just like prep, I get ready for my patients, I make sure like, I read my notes on them from last time and just like really getting into like dedicating that time to like being a good provider.
Right.
Um and making that a habit of something I do like almost every day that I work to just make everyone have a better experience.
Yeah, that's huge. And get your mind right and
Yeah.
make sure we're organized, so you're not like we're
Yes.
running behind. Like we're already behind on the
Yeah.
day.
Just
Like
like sets the tone.
yeah, exactly. So for somebody that is trying to like start a routine or start a habit, what kind of advice would you give to them and just like kind of the basics of kind of getting things going on
Oh,
a
I just
consistent
feel like
basis?
you have to do it as much, even if you're like inconsistent, just like set a goal of doing like one thing like every morning. Just start with that one thing, start small, even if it's like, I don't know, like drink a protein shake every
Yeah,
morning.
or make your bed. Or,
Yeah, I feel like just once you do that and it just becomes like a habit, and then you're like, oh, well, that was easy. And then just picking up like better habits each time and just things that will like improve your life and like just help, you feel better, things like that, where I feel like it just helps you overall,
yeah,
even in like your business. Just like when I feel more put together, like my whole day is going to be better.
right, exactly. Why do you think people just lack, I guess, discipline to kind of be consistent in their lives?
I feel like it's more, I think they're just like okay with like just settling for the way things are, which kind of makes me sad that some people feel like that. But
Right.
I think they're just like okay with like how like their life is, and like I just think they like get up, go to work, come home, repeat, which I don't know if they just don't know anything else or they just don't have that drive to, because sometimes you like need something to happen to like want to change things,
Right.
but you need to change them before things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like some people lack direction. It's like I don't know where I'm going. So it's like if
Yeah.
you don't know where you're going, then you're just gonna be,
Yeah.
floating in space with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So, um, so in saying that, with like habits, routine, is there something that you're trying to like work on that you could be better at yourself that you want to like incorporate into your habits and routine, or something that you're kind of slacking on?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to be better about like exercising. Like, I probably only do that like 3 days a week. That's not really enough. And then I've been trying to like eat more protein. I think everyone's trying to eat more protein.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty bad at, I just trying to really like take better care of myself just so that I can run my business better.
Okay.
Because sometimes, or like one thing I've really been trying to incorporate is like blocking out like an actual lunch when I work.
Ah, okay.
Because sometimes I will like go all day and be like, I ate a cheese stick and had a coffee today. Like,
That's not good.
and yeah, and like my patients are not going to get like my best self if
Right.
I'm like not fueling myself for that. So I've been better. Like, even if it's like a really busy day, I just like carve out. I'm like, I'm just going to take the next 15 minutes. I'm going to sit. I'm going to eat like a real meal, or I'll like order us like protein smoothie or something,
Yeah.
DoorDash it. I'm like, just need to get something in here and like take care of myself and like sit down.
Right.
Like some days I don't sit down, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And because I mean you're on your feet, right? And you do all
Mhm.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just
Like
like
all
locked in.
day.
Go go
Yeah.
go go go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a killer in the back.
Yeah, a little bit. I was like, man, I was like, my back has been hurting lately. I was like, and then I watched like back a video on a content day, and I was like, watching myself inject, and I was like all hunched over. I was like, oh, well, that's why my back hurts.
Yeah.
I'm like, that will do it. So yeah, few things. Maybe that's another thing I need to improve.
Okay. Well, that's good to
A
have
little
things to work on.
posture.
Hey, we all can.
Yeah.
So when you first started, success obviously looks a lot different then than it does now. And you said your first year you did 6 figs, which is crazy huge and super awesome. So now that you're coming into, what year is it we're in?
I'm like in year 2.
Oh, okay.
We're going on, yeah. So this coming fall will be 2 years.
Okay, bet. So, what what's next, or like what do you want to look at like 5 years down the road, or what's like the next accolade for you and your own self? And it could be in business. It could be just within
Okay.
yourself and your own personal life. Like,
Business wise, well, I'm currently, I guess by the time this comes out, it'll probably be done. I'm looking to hire someone, another injector. So that's
okay,
like a pretty big step.
that's huge.
A little scary, but
Yeah.
it's good. And just in the next 5 years, definitely a bigger space. Like, I kind of always want, like, I don't know. I just picture myself having this, like, beautiful storefront. And I'm excited for that because it's going to happen because I'm manifesting it.
Oh yeah.
And then also a few other providers and I have, like, talked about, like, creating, like, a collective possibly, which just kind of like all your services in one. So keep separate businesses, but kind of just like kind of in the same space, just so someone can
Like a
come.
one-stop shop.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that will be in the works too. So we'll see. That's the goal. I definitely don't really want one of these like big like franchisee med spas that like I probably don't want more than one location.
Yeah.
I just want to keep like that like small close knit like boutique experience where
Right.
you feel like you actually know your provider and
Right.
like not feel like it's just like a revolving door and just that kind of vibe is not what I want. I thought maybe like I don't know, when I first started I was like, "Oh, maybe that's like what I want." And the more I get into my business, the more I just see the need for like longer appointment times, like giving patients like just more attention
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Yeah.
I
It's just a
just
true experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
just keeping the experience like very elite and elevated so that like that's what I want to be like remembered for.
Yeah. And you'll keep your customer retention
Yeah.
like that, and like it's a whole thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go here and be treated. I'm gonna be pampered, feeling
Yeah,
good.
it's all about the experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I had a couple final questions for you. I want to be respectful of your time. But before I do that, I do want to acknowledge you real quick. I know we just met, but you have great energy about you, and I want to acknowledge you for just being daring and just going for it. And even though you need a little push from your husband,
Little push.
we all need a little push
Yeah.
sometimes, but you went out and did it. And to do what you did in a month in your field, I think that's very impressive. And not a lot of people can do that, so that's huge. And I appreciate you just like having thick skin and sticking up for your people and your patients and putting yourself out there, because like so many people are like so scared to do things and don't want to put themselves out there, and like especially when like you're the literal face of your
Yep.
business, that comes with a lot,
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you for the courage that you do day in and day out doing that, but also being a wife, being a mom, because those are things that are kind of like don't get talked about, but those are jobs as well.
Yeah.
And it's a lot.
Well, thank you. I
So,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
so
It is. It's a lot, but it's worth it.
Yeah, 100%. So my next question is called the three truths.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't send you this one. This.
Okay.
All
And
right.
I was like, are there going to be questions that are not in the email?
Yes, this is one of them. All right, so this is a hypothetical situation. So you can live to be as old as you want, 120, 150, 200 years, whatever. And in this life, you get to do everything you want to do. You get to have all of your boutiques, however many you want. You get to work with whoever you want. You get to change hundreds of thousands of millions of people's lives and enhancing their beauty, and get to be on the cover of freaking Maybelline or whatever nurse aesthetic magazines are out there. I don't know, just whatever that looks like for
Okay.
you. You can do it all. Write books, so on and so forth. But at some point, it all has to come to an end, and on your final day, everything that you've done goes with you, and we don't get to remember anything that you've done on that realm. But you get a piece of paper with three truths of how you see and envision what life is all about, and we would have those things to remember you by. So what would be your three truths of life that you would leave behind?
Oh, okay. Probably that even though I was running a business, I was still like a great mom. And that I always left people feeling more confident with themselves. And that I really just like went for it and just lived my life. Like, did all the things that I wanted to do and really like no stops. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it.
All gas, no brakes. I love it.
Yeah, kind of.
Hell yeah. And the final question is, in this season of your life, what does live-in mean to you?
It definitely means balancing a business and a family,
Right.
which has been one of the hardest things I'll probably ever do. But it's really just shown me that like there's just no other way for me. Like this is it, and I feel like yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. Just always always a balancing act for me, but it's okay. I feel like it's worth it.
Right. I love it. A true inspiration. So I appreciate your time, everyone. Jenna, thanks for coming on.